now it's time to try something a little bit trickier, because last time we didn't do step 4, so this time we're going to see what happens if we've got a remainder both in the number and after the number. Now we're going to stick with a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. The reason for this is because you'll find that using the image for dividing, say, 723 divided by 14 becomes increasingly difficult when you've got so many numbers that you need to use. Alright, so let's start with step 1. Step 1, we'll go lay out the numbers first, using the formal written method. So let's do that first. So again, we've got our divisor, which if you remember is the number we're dividing by on the outside, so that's the 2. And then we've got our dividend, which is 723, goes inside the bus stop. Now, because we're using the images, we're going to do that as dots. So we've got 700, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we've got 2 dots of 10, and then we've got 3 units. So, just like before, we've separated this number into its place value digits, okay, using just dots, and that's how we set out the formal written method using images. Nice and simple like that. Step 2. So we've got to calculate how many times this divisor goes into this place value digit. So we always start at the largest place value. So let's see if we can make 2 equal groups. So we're going to have one group here. So that's a group of 3, and that's a group of 3. But unfortunately, this time, we're actually left with one remainder. There is no way, no matter how many times we try, we could not make these 7 dots into 2 equal groups. So we're going to have one remainder. So at the moment, the number above, which you've got to remember, we've got to write your answer above that digit. We've got 1, 2, 3 in that one group. So we're going to put the number 3 at the top, like that. Now the question is, what do we do with this one remainder? Well, we've got to carry that 100 over to the tens. So let's do that now. So it looks a bit like this. How many tens are there in 100? Well, we know there are 10 tens in 100, so we're going to need 10 lots of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is why we struggle to use the images when we're dividing large numbers, because we're going to end up probably with loads of dots. So anyways, now we've got 100 there as well. Okay, let's see if we can do the next step. Step 3 says calculate how many times the divisor goes into the next largest place value digit. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got this number now, so that's not just 2 tens anymore. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12 lots of 10. And we need to make that into 2 equal groups. Well, we can see that's going to be quite simple to do. So let's do that now, shall we? Let's go for this color. And we've got one group here. And we've got one group here. So we've split them into 2 equal groups. Remember that word? It's very important when dividing equal. So let's see, how many dots do we have in one of those groups? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots. So we shall put the number 6 above here. And before, okay, just as before, we have no numbers left over, so we've got nothing to carry over to the next number. So we carry on to the next number. So now this time we've got 3 dots. Alright, and we've got to split that into 2 equal groups. A little bit trickier this time. Let's have a go. We've got one group here, and we've got one group here. So again, we can see that we've got 1 dot left over. So what do we do with that dot? Well, I'll show you in a second. So what do we do with these 2 here? So in one group, we have 1 dot. So let's put the number 1 above there. So at the moment, our answer is 361. But what do we do with that one remainder? Well, when you've got no more numbers to the right-hand side, alright, what you've got to do is, well, first of all, we'll extend this bus stop a little bit further. And normally, you'd put a remainder that looks a bit like this. So we've got remainder 1. And that'd be our answer. But we're in year 6. And sometimes in year 6, it asks us to give our answer as a decimal. Well, what that means is we have to do something a little bit like this. First thing we've got to do, after 0, if you remember your place value, there is a decimal point. So here's our decimal point. Please don't mistake that as a dot. It is a decimal point. And after the decimal point, there's a 0. Well, we carry that 1 over to this tenths column. Alright, so it's a placeholder. There's tenths there. So because we're dividing into lots of tenths, alright, we need 10 lots of dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we just do as we do before. How many of those tenths can be divided by 2? Well, we've got, let's just change colour to make everyone a bit easier to see. We've got one group there, and without going any further dots, another group there. And we can see in one of those groups, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. And that means we can put the number 5 there. So what's 723 divided by 2? Well, the answer is 361.5. And that's how you divide using images, where we have a remainder and where we don't have a remainder. And in fact, this time, if you go back and watch, we've actually done step 4 this time, because it says if there was a remainder, which there was here, okay, you got to put the answer into place, which we did, okay, but put the remainder next to the digit you will be dividing next, which we did. We carried this spare 100 over to here, which is where we got this 10 lots of 10 added onto this column. We didn't have a remainder here, so we didn't carry it over here, but we did here, which meant we had to carry it over here. Now, this part here might seem a bit complicated to a lot of you, but remember, you only ever have to do that if the question is asking you to give your answer as a decimal. Otherwise, what you could just do is write 361 remainder 1, because you had one dot left over. Okay, now that you've seen how to do dividing as an image in year 6, have a go with the next question on this page using an image and see if you can do that. Once you can do that, try the next video after, which will show you how to do this as the brain method.